film 12 Years a Slave is a story of a New York citizen who was kidnapped and sold into slavery, where he tries to get out of the situation for 12 years. The novel 1984 is a story of Winston who tries to rebel against the party. Both 1984 and 12 Years a Slave have similar themes, including control of information and history, dangers of dictatorship, physical control, psychological manipulation, protagonist, and symbol of Big Brother.
An example of control of information history in the film 12 Years a Slave occurs in the beginning of the film when Solomon is shown as a New York citizen whose job is to play the violin. After a business meeting turns into a kidnapping, Solomon is sold into slavery. Solomon repeatedly told these men that he has the right paperwork that shows he is a citizen of New York. But these men ask where they are, and obviously he does not have them on him. Later in the film, Solomon tells Master Ford that he was not a slave before his plantation. The slavery business does not care if you were once a citizen. In their eyes, you were made to be a slave.
In 1984, the party changes the past and controls the past. Winston works at the Ministry of Truth, which is an organization that changes the past. He makes a fictional person, Ogilvy, to replace Withers because Withers was not an ideal party member that the party did not want to show people. Also, Syme, Winston's co-worker, works on making Newspeak dictionaries to erase all the words that can be used to rebel against the party. The Newspeak dictionaries get smaller and smaller. The history of Eurasia and East Asia are also replaced.
An example of dangers of totalitarianism in 12 Years a Slave is seen throughout the movie. The white people in the movie control every slave. No other white people try to fix this problem of discrimination nor oppose the idea of slavery. Therefore, they have an absolute power over everything.
In 1984, the party also controls every citizen. There are no opposing parties, which leads the Big Brother to have an absolute power over everything. Just like the movie, the party dictates the citizens.
An example of physical control in the movie 12 Years a Slave occurs frequently throughout the film. An example would be when Solomon is tortured in the beginning of the movie for trying to escape. Solomon is always forced to do what he is told to do by the white people, and he gets punished if he refuses. In the beginning of the movie, when a slave tries to talk back to his owner, he was stabbed by him for trying to rebel, but nobody cared about him or remembered him.
The party makes people confess everything and punish them. The pros are forced to do what they are told to do by the party. Just like the movie, they are given jobs to do. They do not have a choice over their actions. Also in 1984, the party vaporizes people and erases all the history, and everyone eventually forget about the vaporized people.
An example of psychological manipulation in the film 12 Years a Slave occurs when Solomon has a conversation with another slave who has been on the plantation for a long time. She explains to Solomon how she noticed that the master of the plantation's kids looked like they already had hatred for black people. These kids have no reason to hate them, they just do it because they are brought up like that. If all they see are black people getting whipped and doing work and being frowned upon, their minds will become manipulated. Also, the masters only refer to the slaves as Negro or the N-word to make sure that they know they are nothing more than this word.
In comparison to the book 1984, the Parson kids are loyal to the Big Brother to the point where they would turn their own father in. The kids in 1984 are loyal to the Big Brother because all around them they see signs promoting Big Brother. Therefore, they become manipulated to think Big Brother is right. Also, in 1984, the non-party members are only called pros.
The protagonist in 12 Years a Slave is obviously Solomon. Winston and Solomon have many similarities. Solomon is aware of the situation he is in. He used to be a free man, but he knows that he cannot prove it. He tries to find a way to get out of the situation. In the beginning of the movie, Solomon tells other slaves, "I don't want to survive, I want to live." It is clear that Solomon is trying to rebel to get back to his life by planning with these co-workers.
Winston is also aware of his situation he's stuck in. He remembers everything about the past that now people don't remember. He knows that the party can do anything and control the past. He talks to Julia and O'Brien to plan to rebel against the party, just like how Solomon plans with his friends to escape his workplace.
In the film 12 Years a Slave, it is easy to see how Big Brother can be visualized as the white people in the film, because wherever you go, there is always white people watching you. And midway through the film, Solomon is sent out to go see Mr. Bartholomew. As he is walking, he decides to try and run away. As he's running through the forest, he stumbles upon a group of white people that are hanging 3 black men. Solomon does not know what to do, so he just complies with their orders and carries on with what he was doing, going to see Mr. Bartholomew.
On the large posters of Big Brother, it reads, "Big Brother is watching you." It is much like how the owner is always watching these plantation slaves. Also, the party watches the citizens through the instruments called telescreens, and they get arrested by the thought police for the little things they do at home.
Through these comparisons of 1984 and the film 12 Years a Slave, it is easy to see that both these movies are much similar than people would think. Thank you for watching.
Went down to the river.